So this week, the dwarf rhododendrons in the gardens at Glendoick are reaching a crescendo. We have one of the largest collections in the world here at Glendoick. These plants come mainly from the Himalayas and China in the high mountains, and they kind of carpet the hillsides a bit like heather does in the moorlands of Scotland. And they're very sociable plants. They like growing together in carpets. It doesn't really matter if they start to join up and form mats of different colours like they do in the gardens. Here in the garden centre, obviously we have smaller versions of the same hybrids and species of rhododendrons for sale. We've colour coordinated them here, so this particular display here mainly contains purples and pinks, which I think really look very nice together. And these are mostly bred from this One of the things that you'll notice if you come and look at the dwarf rhododendrons at Glendoick, at the garden centre here, is many of them are named after birds. And that's not a coincidence. My father, who started hybridizing these in about 1960, is very keen on birds. And so when he started breeding dwarf rhododendrons, he started naming them after birds. And there are now 30 of them altogether. Many rhododendron collectors try to have a complete set of all the birds. This is one here called pintail, which is an early pink. It's just going over now. It's been in flower since Easter time or so. One of the most popular is a very unusual rhododendron here called razorbill, which is named after a duck, I think. I'm never quite sure. I'm usually get into trouble for not knowing the birds as well as I do in the rhododendrons. This one has very unusual tubular flowers, which we really like. One of the earliest flowering ones is the snow grouse. This is ptarmigan, and it's a very low growing one. The good thing about this is that it opens its flower buds over quite a long period, so they're not all open at once. Now all these rhododendrons can have their buds frosted if we get cold nights at this time of year, so the easiest thing to do is to pop out and put a piece of fleece over them if it's going to freeze at night, to stop the flowers being frosted. It won't do the plants any harm, but it's just really annoying that your beautiful bush, which is covered in flower, gets frosted. Now the other rhododendrons that are in this display here are the Williamsianum and Repens hybrids. These are what you'd term as medium-sized rhododendrons. They grow to 3-4 foot high, and they would also make the best choice. If I was going to grow any rhododendron in a pot or a container, I would choose them. And one of the things that I think is important if you're going to container grow rhododendrons is try and find ones with interesting foliage, like this, for example. This is one called Wine and Roses, which we bred and launched on the market a few years ago, and it has lovely pink flowers, but its real claim to fame is this red underside on the leaf, which displays itself particularly on the new growth, and so you've got something interesting to look at all the year round. And another really nice one is this one here, Ruby Heart, which has the darkest red flowers of anything. We sell quite a lot of this one for ruby weddings too. Makes a lovely dark foliaged tight bun, and the flowers are an amazing colour.